Have you made the decision to come and live in Thailand? Are you wondering about how to apply for a retirement visa? What are the requirements? Let me explain the process to you in this video. Hi, I'm Andrew and this is Always on a Journey. In today's video, I want to share some information with you. If you're planning on staying in Thailand long term, if you're over 50, you can apply for a retirement visa. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. In a previous video, which I made a few weeks ago, I highlighted the most common visas you can apply for in Thailand. If you have a look up here, you can see that video. Last week, I posted a poll in the community tab in YouTube, just asking you all which visa you would apply for if you were coming to live in Thailand or to stay in Thailand for a period of time. And the retirement visa got the most votes and came first, with the tourist visa a close second. And because of the results of that poll, I've decided to make this video. I want to let you know a little bit more information about the Non-Immigrant O visa. I'll let you know who's eligible, what the requirements are, and how much it costs. Okay, there's actually two options available. There's a Non-Immigrant OA visa, which you can apply for in your home country. And there's also the Non-Immigrant O visa, which you would apply for in Thailand. It seems the Non-Immigrant O visa is the most popular between the two. So today, I'm going to focus just on the Non-Immigrant O visa. Right, so the first thing you need to do is get to Thailand. If you're from one of the countries which I'm showing you now, you're entitled to enter Thailand under the visa exemption scheme, which currently allows you to stay in Thailand for up to 45 days. That's the first option, but if your country isn't on that list, or you want to stay in Thailand for a longer period initially, what you can do is apply for a tourist visa. And the tourist visa allows you to stay in Thailand for up to 60 days. With the visa exemption and the tourist visa, you can extend both of those by an extra 30 days. So in effect, the visa exemption would give you 45 days plus 30 for the visa extension, so that would be a total of 75 days. Or the tourist visa would give you an initial 60 days, and then the visa extension would be 30 more days, so that would be a total of 90. I won't go into any detail about the visa extension once you're in Thailand. I'll do that in a separate video sometime soon. Okay, when you do apply for the Non-Immigrant O visa, it's really important that you give yourself enough time. My advice would be give yourself at least 15 days before your current visa expires. If I was in this position and I was applying for the Non-Immigrant O visa, I would get to Thailand. Within the first week or 2 weeks, I would open a bank account and then get the documentation available to take to immigration. You can make the application yourself if you want to, and you can get all of the documentation prepared, and I'm going to share that information with you now. If you do it yourself, it'll cost you about 2,000 baht for the application. If you want a multiple entry, that would be 5,000 baht. What a lot of people do is they use an agency, and if you want to use an agency, you would just contact an agency that's in the province that you intend to stay in, and I believe the agency fees for the Non-Immigrant O application is about 20,000 baht. Okay, so the first thing you need is you need a passport, and your passport needs to have at least 6 months in there. My advice would be, if you're intending to stay for a total of 1 year, you need to have a minimum of 1 year in there. One thing that I need to clarify here is when you apply for the Non-Immigrant O, initially you only get 90 days, and then you need to return before that 90 days expires to extend this visa up to the year, which I'll give you more information about that later in the video. So you need your passport, and you also need a copy of your passport. You then need a passport photograph. I always take extra passport photographs just in case they do ask for more. And then you need a bank statement. So what you need to do is you need to deposit 800,000 Thai baht into a Thai bank account. Now, a lot of people seem to have a misconception with the Non-Immigrant O visa that you need to keep this money in the Thai bank account for a minimum of 60 days before applying. That's not true. You can arrive in Thailand, deposit the money into a Thai bank account, and the bank must print you a verification letter on letterhead confirming that you have that amount of money in that bank account. And you can go to immigration the day after you've opened your bank account if you want to. With regards to verifying your funds, there is a second option that's available. Say, for example, you don't have 800,000 Thai baht available. The second option allows you to be able to verify that you earn a minimum of 65,000 Thai baht a month, and that could be income or it could be some form of pension. Now, what you need to do with that income, it does need to be verified by an embassy. And I know a few years ago, quite a few embassies, they stopped offering this affidavit which verifies your income. So you might have to go down the route of depositing 800,000 Thai baht into a Thai bank account if you can't get an affidavit verifying your income from your country's embassy. The next thing that you need to do is complete the correct application form. There are two application forms available, and I'm going to show you them both on the screen now. I'm showing you the TM86. You use the TM86 if you entered Thailand with a tourist visa. If you entered on the visa exemption, you would need to complete the TM87. And both of these forms, I leave a link to them in the description in case you want to download them in advance. Of course, you can pick these up at immigration once you're in Thailand as well. You also need to show your departure card, which is known as the TM6. You would have filled this in before arriving in Thailand. Also, make sure that you take a copy of that as well. You need to have a copy of the visa page in your passport. And finally, you need to have proof of address. So if you are intending to stay in Thailand long term, what you need to have done is you need to have signed a contract and have a rental agreement, and you need to have the rental agreement with you to verify your current address. As I mentioned before, the Non-Immigrant O visa is only valid for 90 days. So a few days or maybe a week before your Non-Immigrant O is due to expire, you need to return back to immigration again to apply for your extension, which will take you up to the full 12 months. At this stage, when you go for the extension, there is a requirement that the 800,000 Thai baht that you deposited into a Thai bank account, that must have been in a Thai bank account for a minimum of 60 days. My advice would be, when you apply for the Non-Immigrant O, when you first arrive, just leave that 800,000 Thai baht in the bank. Don't dip below that amount because it needs to have been in there for the 60 days when you apply for the extension. When you go for your extension, there's a few things that you need to take with you. Firstly, your passport, of course, your passport photo, and you need to submit a form which is called TM7, and I've left a link in the description for that form. There's also a fee that you need to pay, which is 1,900 baht. My advice at this stage would be as well, take the other documents that you took when you applied for your Non-Immigrant O, such as your proof of your bank account, take a current bank statement, and also take proof of your address. You might not need those because you're already registered on the system, but I would just take them just in case. once you have the extension, there is a requirement to leave the 800,000 Thai baht in the Thai bank account for a minimum of 3 months. And then after that, for the remainder of your visa, you need to leave a minimum of 400,000 Thai baht in your Thai bank account. Okay, excellent. So all being well, that should be successful, and you're then able to stay in Thailand for up to 1 year, and then you can simply reapply before this visa expires. And now I've just got a few common questions that I want to highlight and answer for you. The first question is, can I leave Thailand if I have a retirement visa? Yes, you can, but you need to have a re-entry permit, and I'll make another video in the future talking in a little bit more detail about the re-entry permit. You must remember to have the re-entry or get the re-entry permit before you leave, because if you don't have that and you leave Thailand, your current visa would be cancelled and you'd need to start the whole process again. Can I work with a retirement visa? No, you can't work in Thailand, but if you have work outside of the country, it's perfectly fine to carry on with that. Can I show my money in my home bank account? No, that isn't possible. You must deposit 800,000 Thai baht into a Thai bank account, and you must have a letter from your Thai bank verifying this money is in there. If you do have any further questions, drop me a comment, let me know what your query is. Also, if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a good day.